In this battle, we're going to be testing Armored Swordsmen versus Lombard Axemen. And the Lombard Axemen are much, much cheaper than the Armored Swordsmen. So, the Lombard Axemen, being a single-handed axe unit, their stats are heavily geared towards offense with a 34 charge bonus, which is very good for a single-handed weapon. 32 melee damage, 49 melee attack, very low armor. Melee defense is on the low side, but they have a high amount of armor piercing, 20 armor piercing damage. So these guys on the charge, they are doing 64 damage. 66 damage actually. Whereas these armored swordsmen heavily geared towards defense with a 17 charge bonus, a lower melee attack, 62 melee defense, 46 armor. So much more geared towards defense. Now the Lombard Axemen are much cheaper, much cheaper than the armored swordsmen. And that's why we've given them triple gold here. And since the axes are offensive and the armored swordsmen are more of a defensive unit, I've decided to test both against a shield wall and against going head on, charging into each other. So on the charge, as expected, the Lombard Axemen win against the swords, but only just. This is the non-upgraded unit though. So the Lombard Axemen are winning on the charge, but then it looks like the tankiness of the armored swordsmen starts to prevail. So they're winning quite decisively on the charge, but then they start losing a bit. Yeah, now they've started losing. But it took them down until about half unit strength. They were actually winning this, and then they start losing again. So there are some interesting things you can do to make this to turn this around for the Lombard Axemen. It would only take a love tap from a cav unit, and this Lombard Axemen would destroy the armored swordsman. And since the Lombard Axemen are so much cheaper, that becomes potentially a very, very cost-effective trade. Now let's see here, and since there are no precursors, of course, it's very safe to use cavalry. Now here, the armored swords, if you upgrade the Lombard Axemen, they do get insane stats. For the price. Their melee attack is 59. Their melee defense starts to approach that of the armored swordsman. It's 20 off, but very high melee attack. And the upgrades allow the Lombard Axemen to absolutely destroy the armored swordsman. Now putting this amount of upgrades into the Lombard Axemen is a bit risky, because they do not get more armor, they do not get more health, so they will die just as easily to missiles, they will die just as easily to cavalry. So if you have a unit like this on the battlefield, if you have a Lombard Axeman with triple gold, you have to really take care of it. And it will die to shock infantry, it will die to high charge infantry, it will die to cavalry, it will die to missiles. So it's a bit circumstantial. Like in the ideal scenario, it will do very well against a sword unit like the armored swords. But on the battlefield, bringing triple gold is a huge risk for a unit that only has 10 armor. But needs to be said, the single-handed axes do exceptionally well against swords now, almost to the point where you could ask yourself, why would you bring swords? And there are a few instances where swords are better than axes, but single-handed axes are dangerous now. Strength and honor.